Hello, everybody. I think I'm live. What's up? Good morning, good day, good evening to you, whatever time it is for you when you find this video. I have some very big stuff to talk about today. Very big. I have a message from another god, Apollo. As I have told you before, the gods are rising. The gods are rising all over. And I say gods in plural. Okay. Good morning. Hello, Lisa. We have had some really big shifts occurring that I need to talk about. No matter who you are, there are big changes occurring now, and they will continue to occur. Okay. Um, I have been bringing about big changes and shifts for the earth since 2019. That is who I am. I'm a master healer, an ascension master, and a divine guide. So I have been implementing these big changes to the earth since 2019. What the ascension portals are pyramid activations. They are the return of the masculine and feminine pyramids. And I have been activating, reactivating, whatever you want to call it, those since 2020. I cleared Mount Shasta, which was not of light at all. Okay. Then I started activating the first pyramid, I think was in Fiji, which is where I opened up the God portal again. Okay. The God portal is relevant because, see, Mount Shasta was part of the false veil, and God did not create the false veil. They stole the all-seeing eye. They stole the energy of the collective soul, the collective grid, the grid of the earth, the crystalline grid. They stole it. They changed it. They implemented and bound a lot of darkness within it. Okay. And that is not kosher. They ripped apart Adam and Eve, Jesus and Mary Magdalene, and Sekhmet and Hours, and that is not kosher. They shifted the poles all over the world. By kosher, I mean it's not okay, right? Like it wasn't acceptable what happened. Right now, I'm going to keep talking about that, but right now we are in a state of needing to expand your comfort zone. No matter who you are, no matter if you choose not to rise or not, things cannot stay the same. Things will not stay the same. Things are changing, and in very, very, very big ways. Okay. I was processing my death of Eve the other day, and what happened to Eve. In my dream, I had a brown snake rise out of my garden, and it started chasing me. And there were all these temptations coming at me, and it threw up this white rat. It threw up a white rat, which I had to try to understand what that meant. But knowing what I have succeeded in doing, knowing that the return of Christ is complete, and I do mean complete, we cleared it, we purified it, we brought purity to what once was, okay, which was all separation and division of the light and love. All right, so this is a true return of Christ. But what is the return of Christ? Most people are waiting just for a man named Jesus to come out of the sky. And that's not what it is at all. Okay. Not only was I activating pyramids, I had to process Jesus's death. Then I freed his soul, which was the battle of my twin flame and I, the biggest battle I've ever known that almost killed me. Then from there came the battle of Sekhmet and Hours. And I had to clear that, the ripping apart of all of that. And I had to clear the crystalline grid, all the darkness that was in that. I had to clear the core of the earth from the dark that was there, the crystal that was there, freeing all the souls from Mount Shasta, the Twin Towers, Salem, Massachusetts, religion, which was not of God at all. You guys, all of these things have been undone. All of the darkness has been undone. And now you must have it all undone within you. So today, in activating all those pyramids, it took me since 2019 to do them all until probably about, I think the last one was within the last year. We did the masculine ones: Kilimanjaro, Congo, British Columbia, Ecuador. Those were the masculine ones. And those we completed when my new DM rose. Okay. Those came into play again. So I've been implementing the portals in the earth right now. I have literally been ascending the earth, and you are all rising through those portals of ascension right now. You absolutely, unequivocally are. You have no choice. Okay. So I have a message from Apollo. What I do is quite vast. I'm not normal. I'm not here to be normal. I'm not here to be like anybody else. Okay. I'm not going to talk about things like anybody else does. And if that upsets you, then just heal that. Okay. Find more love, because that's what I am. And that's what I've brought here is the changes that needed to occur, and rightfully so. See, even if I didn't exceed, the world was going to change. It had to. Okay. It had to. So I know the gods are rising, and they're meant to be rising. They're the ones who are going to help implement these changes. Your heart reviews are being implemented through each portal. So where karma is, that's the thing that will block you, because you have to be a pure sovereign being of unconditional love to make it into the new earth. We are in the golden era. We are in the age of, some call it Aquarius, which I don't know to what God calls it, is the golden era, basically heaven on earth, but there really is no heaven and hell. It's just the return of God, the return of Christ. Our earth has been taken back. Our earth has been healed and realigned and reborn. And not only did I activate pyramids, the Nile portal, all of that kind of stuff, I closed down all 12 gates of darkness. Okay. And all this plays out on this channel. I'm not here to say, oh, believe me, I have the proof. You just have to open your eye to see. You have to click videos. You have to be an open heart without judgment. Okay. Because that will bind you and blind you. It absolutely will. I wouldn't want to make this up. My life has not been peachy keen doing all this by myself and fighting for my twin soul. So basically, I mean, there's so much to talk about, and I'm trying to make it to where it makes sense. Because if I say everything too fast, nobody's going to be able to digest it anyway, because what I've done is very real and very vast. Okay. I have reactivated the masculine and feminine pyramids. I have healed my entire soul history back from Adam and Eve, Jesus and Mary Magdalene, and Sekhmet and Hours. I have done that. So has my DM. And we are finishing the Adam and Eve timeline as I speak. Okay. So I birthed the new earth August 1st through the 8th. You know how the Bible, the fake book, I call it a fake book because most of it isn't accurate. There are pieces of accuracy within it, but most of it is created for division, control, and confusion. Jesus did not die on a cross. He did not die for your sins. Okay, all of these things were a lie. What truly happened to Adam and Eve, some of that was a lie too. Okay. And is more to understanding that, we were in a world of confusion and darkness and control and shackles that bind you. It was like a prison. And the truth is what sets you free. Opening up and expanding to these changes will set you free. But no matter who you are, the changes are occurring. Okay. And you have to get out of your comfort zone. You have to. You guys, we cannot stay in the world we used to know no matter what. Even those who aren't rising cannot stay in the world always known. They just cannot. Okay. And as I get into this video, it's a lot. It's a lot to process. If somebody is new here and they want a healing, I was going to give one of those away today. But that you have to be, open to that, and you just comment in the comments and request. That's if, right? Some people have a hard time with what I say, let alone pushing past that resistance for true healing, because it is very real healing. Very real. Okay. But we're here to change. We're here to let go of our past. We're here to accept the truths and let go of the lies that have been blinding us. Okay. Because these shifts are beyond our understanding in here, but you're going to feel them and understand them more in here. And in order to do that, you have to heal Okay. You have to truly open your heart. Go beyond all of those wounds, right? All of those things that we've gone through, that we've all gone through, and accept more love. And the more you accept more love, the more you push past that resistance, because there will always be resistance. That shadow doesn't want you free. It doesn't want you in your power and a pure sovereign being. It doesn't want you returning to love and letting go of fear, because then it loses power. Because you're the only power that darkness has. Okay? Um, the reason the shifts occurred to this earth is because the fallen had power. They were angels, they were fallen, okay? And they used that to their advantage. And they created that veil. It wasn't God. And that was Mount Shasta. All right. There was hundreds of souls trapped in Mount Shasta. In part 2, I returned the triangle with the eye to the God portal, which was at Fiji. And if you can't handle that, then I don't know what to tell you, because right when I said that, 2 people left, it looked like. Okay. That's the truth. The God portal was at Fiji. The Earth's original root chakra was at Fiji. Okay. This is the truth. This is the return of Christ. And it has played out all right here in front of you. It's all on this channel. I wouldn't want to make it up. You see, what I've been doing right now is shifting the portal earth. Okay, I've been implementing each portal of the pyramid activations. The earth is right now shifting. The earth is shifting right now as we speak. Okay, and no matter who you are, you cannot stay where you were. You cannot stay blinded. You cannot stay in your comfort zone. You have to get out of that comfort zone no matter who you are. No matter who you are. You have to get out of your comfort zone. Mount Shasta was darkness. A lot of the world that you knew was darkness. You see, they closed down the God portal. Okay, that was Fiji. It was a God portal. That is like a very high ascension sphere. Fiji has a female pyramid there. And when I cleared Mount Shasta, I was able to activate Fiji and open up the God portal and return the all-seeing eye there. And that's what undid that veil. It will never return again. No matter who you are, you cannot remain the same. No matter who you are, you cannot remain in the same world you once knew. It has changed. Okay. This is what Apollo. So Apollo, the god Apollo, came forward today. Hello, Amy. The god Apollo came forward today. The reason why the gods have been coming up is the world is shifting. This is the greatest reset of mankind. The gods have returned here. All right. It was Adam and Eve. Then it came the Egyptian time, Sekhmet and Horus. There's all these timelines. There's all this past history that they don't tell you the truth of. Okay. They tell you little bits and pieces so that it resonates here. And then they divide and conquer the rest. Okay. And when you give your power away to that shadow, you remove yourself from God through fear, through judgment, through ego, through temptations of all kinds. And I've literally processed the other day, what happened to my life as Eve. And it was heavy. It was very heavy. What happened to Adam and Eve was painful. And it's not all about what they told you either. What happened to Jesus and Mary Magdalene? And I say both together because they're twin flames. That is God, Adam and Eve. What happened to Adam and Eve? That is God's firstborn, right? That is God's child. Eve, Adam was split from Eve. That's her twin flame. Then it was Jesus and Mary Magdalene and Sekhmet and Horus. They're all the same soul. If God has one child, what happened to Adam and Eve? We forgot about. They don't talk about that for a reason. Okay. The return of Christ is not just Jesus, but that was a part of it. The Holy Grail was dirtiest upon dirty. It was not holy at all. It was a contract written in Jesus's blood. and it was used against mankind. They trapped my DM soul. And that is what I spent a year battling for against 3 fallen. The red dragon was gate number 6. As a matter of fact, I birthed the new earth from August 1st through the 8th. Okay. God said, enough. We're in the portal of the Nile. Okay. Yes, read their comments. They're very, very on point. If anybody is still here, if anybody is still watching beyond those that have worked with me that do know, because they've released the shadow and they can see, okay, they pushed past that resistance that no matter who you are, you're going to have when you come to me, because I'm here to spark your shadow. I'm here to help remove it. Okay. So when you come to work with me, you're going to find a shadow. Judgment will come out if judgment is within you. Okay. It's because it's there to heal it. Fear will come out if fear is within you, because it's there to heal it. And that's the way the shadow works. That's the way those shackles work, is they want you bound. They want you resistance to love. They want you resistant to God, the true God. Okay. What the Bible tells you is not true God. It's not true God. God does not judge. Judgment day is not God going, oh, you're not good enough. You're a chosen. I don't like how everybody's like, oh, are you a chosen one? If you are here, you are a chosen one. If you are alive and you are connected to God's light in this time frame, you are a chosen one. Everybody is. Let go of the 144,000. Who's this? Who's that? If you are here, you are a chosen one. That's inequality to think that God just chooses by who he sees fit. That's not God. If you don't go to church and get baptized, you're not going to hell. I promise you. Actually, if you go to church and get baptized, you might actually be anchoring yourself into that darkness. That's the truth. Jesus didn't die on a cross, and he didn't die for your sins. This is a karmic play out. And I talked about that when I brought down the blood of Christ before I undid the Holy Grail and united Jesus and Mary Magdalene timeline, my soul, my DM, and I again. I did that on Christmas Day of 22 live on this channel. Didn't know it was coming, like everything else I've done. Okay. So you are in the midst of the biggest changes of your life, the biggest changes throughout history of time, space, breath, space continuum. You will never have an opportunity like that again. That is why if you are alive here in this lifetime, you were a chosen. You were already a chosen. You chose to be the lineage of your family that was going to come in and heal it all once and for all. Except some will not choose through free will to rise. They will choose to anchor into that shadow. They will choose to not want to choose love. They will choose to not want to grow as a soul, because that's what it takes to rise above, is pure, uncanny, unadulterated, painful soul growth. Because we have to let go of all that was. To make it into the new earth, the golden era, you have to let go of all the lessons you needed to learn. You have to learn them now to rise above. You have to clear all karma. You cannot make it into a very high vibration of unconditional love and still have wounds and karma you had to learn from. That's the difference. That's the difference. Those who choose to pick up judgments and ego and fear and be controlled by greed and money, they won't make it. Because those are the choices that you played out at one lifetime or many that took you away from the light of God, the pureness and the wholeness of the pure sovereign soul that you were created to be. Okay? So no matter who you are, you're about to go through the biggest changes you have ever seen and will ever and never see again. This is the greatest reset of mankind, you guys. Some amazing things have been happening, but you have to be able to push through that fear, the shadow, the judgment, the ego that says, this can't be. But it is. Oh, yes, it is. See, after spending since 2019, clearing the pyramids, activating the pyramids, clearing all darkness back to the beginning of time, it's all here. Okay. These were all channeled during the portals. Somebody else did this painting before I even did the work. Okay. And I didn't even know we didn't know what this meant at the time. And then it all played out piece by piece. No matter who you are, you're about to see the biggest changes of your life. You cannot stay the same. Even for those choosing to not rise, you cannot stay the same. You are going to be in a karmic demise. You are in it now. That's what God says by, change of plans. We're in the Nile portal now, which means the portals are rising now. Now is the time to be aligned. Now is the time to choose love more than anything in this world. Choose love unconditional. And that's not easy. You know why? Because it wasn't here before. It's not what you were taught. Ooh, I got chills when I said that. Ooh, we were not taught that. We were taught to judge. We were taught to have fear. We were taught that God judges us. We were taught to repent. God already loves you. God doesn't judge. That's another lie. Okay, that's another lie. Right now, the work that I've been doing right now, right? I've already activated the pyramids. I've already done all that stuff. We've already cleared the timelines. We've already united. I've already united Adam and Eve, Jesus and Mary Magdalene, and Sekhmet and Horus. And it was the coolest thing you'd ever experience. It really was. It was very painful. It was not easy. And my first twin flame even died. Okay. I got to walk in, and he's beautiful. He's beautiful. Okay. He's helped me activate the masculine pyramids, because the first half were feminine and the second half were masculine. The divine feminine and the divine masculine have returned. That's what I'm talking about. Right? The king and queen. God's firstborn was truly Eve and Adam, not Jesus. But religion wants you to think it was Jesus and only Jesus. What about Mary? That was his twin flame. So the resurrection, that part of it, the resurrection, the part of Jesus, was undoing that holy grail. It was a contract written in his blood. He was poisoned. You ever heard of the Last Supper? Yeah, they poisoned him. John the Apostle gave him bread and wine. I know, because I had to process his death. I had to process his death before I brought down his blood. And if you don't believe me, you're not ready to rise. There's healing you need to do. And it all played out on this channel. It's there for you to watch it. It's in the Ascension playlist. It happened to me, through me, unbeknownst to me. You can watch it. I didn't know it was coming. Okay. You guys, these changes are massive. The things that I did to the earth are massive. And I do mean massive. You cannot stay the same. You cannot stay hidden in the shadows anymore. You cannot stay blinded to what once was anymore. The time to rise is now. And the way to do that is to be in your heart center. To be balanced in a pure heart center, you have to heal all that shadow to see clearly, because where your shadow lies is where you're blinded to the truth. That's the veil. Where your shadow takes you to is where you're blinded to the truth of God. That's the veil. If you have shadow, you can only see until that shadow hits you. Once that shadow hits you, you have a veil of blindness. And that's the matrix. There's a matrix virus wall. There's a religious virus wall, I would call it. It's the matrix. God is not religion. I guarantee you that. I guarantee you that. All the religion takes a division of what God really is. It takes little pieces and divided it out and made you turn against each other. Because God is unconditional love. There is zero, and I do mean zero division in God. It's about unity of the whole, of the soul, of the light, of the one, of love, of unconditional love. And you have to be free of all of those wounds and karmic patterning in order to make it into the new earth, which is happening now. Okay. And the ladies in the comments, it says nobody's here. But YouTube always lies to me, so I don't know what's true. But the ladies that are in the comments, they watched me on my awakening. My awakening occurred in 2019. Okay, I had a sudden Kundalini awakening I didn't ask for. I was in the psychology field, a single mother coming out of a very abusive relationship. And then I watched my father die on Valentine's Day of 2019, pretty much in my arms. Okay. And as a therapist, I sought therapy and it didn't help, right? It just wasn't helping. So I decided to go within to heal it. I just went within. I started following those nudges and I went within, which is what sparks an awakening. You stop focusing outward and you start focusing inward. You don't become numb to your emotions. You start diving in. And that's what'll spark an awakening. That's why trauma used to be what did that. Okay. So they watched me go through this. They watched my awakening. Not only did they watch it, they went to healings, they went to workshops, and they awakened right along with me. I woke them up too. Okay. I healed them completely and they showed up. They showed up, they kept going, and they pushed past all resistance. Because when you meet me, when you work with me, when you hear me, your shadow will absolutely try to stop you. 1,050%. Lisa says, yes, we did. And yes, she did. They met me usually through healings or a live video that I did, and I didn't know them. They would get messages and healings. That's usually where it starts for people. And then they're like, because my healings aren't normal either. Okay. So I had that awakening. Then I started doing healings on people. I didn't have to be taught. It was in me. Then I started doing things to the earth. It was beautiful. It was quite beautiful. It was very beautiful. The reason I'm being heightened, you guys, is because these changes can be difficult. If you're not ready, they can be difficult. If you're not ready to see the truth, it can blind you more. Okay. So Apollo came forward today with a very big message. The gods are amongst you. And there's a reason for this. So I'm going to get right into it now. Okay. I think I've tried to explain enough, but if the Jesus stuff stops you, you're not ready to hear what I'm doing now. If you can't hear the truth about what happened to Jesus, you're not ready to hear what I'm doing now. Okay. Period. Because yeah, I undid the Holy Grail. Yes, I did. And it was painful. And I did it through uniting with my DM, battling all that shadow, all that darkness, all the attempts on my life and on his, and he did not make it. Okay. Yeah, they don't tell me anything. I don't ever want you to tell me anything. If you have a healing or messages with me, don't tell me anything. I don't want to know because that's not validating. Spirit already knows everything about you. I do heart measures. I don't, it's okay. But I'm going to tell you right now that if you're not ready to hear that I undid the Holy Grail, you're not ready to hear what I'm doing now. And that's okay. Because I'm here for those that are ready to hear. I'm here for those that are ready to rise. Okay. I'm here for those that are ready to rise. I'm here for those that are ready to be rid of their karmic demise, that don't want to pick up judgment and throw it at me or anybody, because that is not God. Okay. The end of ways, which you are in right now, the end of ways, which you are in right now, the biggest changes of mankind you have ever known are playing out right now. There's a lot you better be ready for, and it's jarring. Okay. It's jarring, but it's beautiful. And that's part of Apollo's message, is that you have to get out of your comfort zone. You have to get out of worrying about judgments of others or throwing judgments towards anybody. You have to get out of fear. You have to get out of the shackles that bind you. You have to get out of the shadow that blinds you. You have to, and you have to right now. Now is the time to rise, my friends. I guarantee you right now we are rising. And if you're not rising, you're being cut off, because we cannot divide darkness and light anymore. That's what I did. And if you're not ready to hear what happened to Jesus, you're not ready to hear what I'm about to tell you. We cannot house darkness and light anymore together. You cannot. You cannot. If you choose to not heal your shadow, you will lose all light. If you choose to rise to the light, you have to lose all shadow. Okay, that is what they call Judgment Day. You reap what you sow day. It's a karmic play out because what happened to God, the truth about what happened to Adam and Eve, the truth about what happened to Jesus and Mary Magdalene and Sekhmet and Horace, knowing that truth will set you free. And I got a lot of chills when I said that. A lot of chills. Knowing that truth will set you free. Do you want to know how I know all of these things? Because it was my lifetime. It was my awakening, and it was extremely painful and beautiful, and it took strength that I didn't even know I had. And somehow I survived, and even survived my own twin flame, and got a beautiful walk-in, whom I love very much, and I am now one with. Okay. So after I birthed the new earth, after I did all of the return of Christ, I birthed the new earth. I implemented the Nile portal, which is the final one, and I birthed the new earth. I did that on August 1st through the August 8th, and it's on this channel. Day 1, God fully united my twin soul and I in the energy that is Adam and Eve. Okay. Then he put our feet in the core of the earth, and I began birthing the new earth. Day 2, I did things to the planets. Day 3, I did things to the sun and the moon and brought down all DNA activations. Then day 4, I changed the seasons and the weather patterning and the food. Day 5, I undid the matrix chakra system, undid it all. The matrix is just a mass ball that is falling. Okay. God is not in the matrix anymore. The angels are not on that side anymore. They are now in the new earth. All animals will be in the new earth. The matrix is losing light every breath of every day. Okay. And if you have any shadow, you will lose that light. You have to heal it. You cannot remain the same. You cannot remain the same. You cannot remain the same. Okay. Day 6, I called back all light from the darkness. They lost their heartbeat because they were originally fallen. They lost all light, and all divination tools got called back to the new earth. And either you follow them over or it pulls away from you, because we just can't mix it anymore. Okay. We can't mix the shadow and light anymore. That's the return. What was done wasn't okay. It wasn't God. Okay. God is not sacrifice. He is not bloodshed, and he is not judgment. We have free will. That's what karma is. Free will. Okay. And they convince you, don't worry, you're forgiven. That way you do things outside of God. So all you have to do is heal those wounds. You have to choose to see beyond the resistance into love. Union of love, wholeness, togetherness, power. You have power. But no matter who you are, you can't remain the same. So, they say there's this group of people who will choose not to rise. That's true. But they still won't be able to stay the same. They will be in a full karmic demise. They will have to lose the light. And if they get to keep some light, they just can't stay. Because you can't commingle them anymore. That's the return of Christ. Okay. So this is what Apollo says. Apollo came in. He got to be one of the gods of the sun. Okay. But he wasn't the god of sun. Ra is. That's Sekhmet. All right. And no, you cannot heal fully by listening to these pieces of workshops. It actually requires a lot of healing every day, right? Dig deep, read these comments. They know because they went through the path. They went through all of these things with me. When you do healings with me, they're no joke. They truly heal you. So Apollo came in. He was a god. All of the gods have returned. So they're going to be here implementing your heart reviews. And Apollo is a god who made mortals aware of their own guilt and healed it for you. Okay. He's the divine distance. He's like the god of divine distance. He's the bringer of plagues. Okay. People think that actually God causes these plagues. It's a virus matrix wall. All right. But the thing is if you have karma, your hearts were measured. And so they're going to know the separation. They're going to know who's rising and who is not. Have you noticed there's a lot of people getting sick? You've got listeria outbreaks. You've got monkeypox coming. You've got all of these things. All of these things are hitting you. And if you think the jab wasn't a part of that, I don't know what to tell you. Okay, there's a reason those played out that way. There's a reason they want you sick. There's a reason they change your genetic blueprint of the things that you do, from the foods you eat to the things that you see to the music you hear. It was all meant to cut you off. It was all meant to stop you from rising. Because if you rise, if you set your soul free, if you rise to the light of the one and you heal all your shadow, they lose that power. It's a power play. You gave your power away to the shadow, which is part of what ripped God apart in every lifetime. So Apollo is here, and Apollo has a message. He is the god of disease, but also a healer. He's a god of music and a power of prophecy. Okay, that's who he was. He was a Greek god. So he was around in that time frame. But you have to remember, as there were gods here. That's why they called some of us giants. Everything was bigger. We were gods. Adam and Eve are a god. They're part of the gods of time. They were the original creation from God. That is the return of Christ, not just Jesus. Okay. It was Adam and Eve, Jesus and Mary Magdalene, and Sekhmet and Hours. All right. These are all gods of time. Gods of creation is a better word for that, because time isn't real. It's gods of creation, gods of breath, gods of light. All right. Does that make sense so far? And so Apollo is here now, and he has a message. All right. He's a god of disease, but also a healer, right? A god of prophecy and a god of music. So you know how they changed music, and you have some very dark people bringing music that actually helps get in people's heads, right? The darkness gets in your head. So you have to be very careful of what you listen to. You have to be careful of what you listen to. And if you think I don't know what I'm talking about, that's true. Arrangement of many things oftentimes feels strange. This is Apollo's message today, okay? Because no matter who you are, you cannot remain the same. So this is what Apollo says. Right now, you have to accept changes. And I'm going to explain to you what the 13 gates are again a little deeper, because I'm implementing those right now. And if you're not ready to hear about Jesus, you're not ready to hear this either. Okay, so hopefully you are, because the time is now to rise. This is what Apollo came with the message today. The god Apollo, he came through the god of light. They were part of, okay? The original God is God. There's only one main God, that's God. Okay, then he made the other gods, starting with Adam and Eve. Then he made the angels. And the gods of Adam and Eve and a few others made mankind. Okay? Then the fallen came down and started taking away the light of mankind and cut off the light of God and enslaved all of you. That's what happened. So now your choice is either to fall with the fallen or rise with the light. And it's all through karmic demise or healing it. Okay? So this is what Apollo says. Arrangement of many things oftentimes feels of stings. Vibrational shifts to match energies. So I get visions too, and they talk, and what he's saying here is it's going to hurt either way. It feels hard. It feels difficult because it's different. And if your vibration doesn't match the higher frequency, it hurts. Because it's either love rise or karmic demise. Okay? So then he says, separate yourself from the collective soul. Step into the hollow. And I see like this vast open space. Emptiness, nothingness. Structural shifts already occurring. Rifts reassuring. And when I saw that, what he showed me is there's things happening behind the scenes, especially your governmental control. Okay. Your governmental control is falling right out from under you. It is crumbling and crumbling quicker than you think it is. Very fast. From money to their whole structure at play to power lines. Did you hear what's happening in California right now, you guys? Did you hear what's happening in California right now? There's a whole town that had to be shut down because it cracked. It's like moving, it's shifting. The power lines fell. And gas lines had to be shut off, a whole town, and they're about to evacuate them. Granted, I think it's a small section of town, but California is already falling. These things are already occurring. There's no life support to California. Do you know what's happening in Aurora in my state? Have you heard about what's happening in Colorado right now? You have Venezuelan gangs coming in and taking over apartment complexes. You have all these things happening. The government's always like, it's no big deal. There's 4 million people here. What's a few apartment complexes? No big deal. There are shifts happening you don't even know right now. There's so many happening so fast, the whole world is not seeing it all. Yep, sounds like something we have seen in the workshops. So as I'm implementing these portals, as I activated the pyramids, I told you power lines are going to fall. It's not real power. We should not have to pay for electricity. We should not have to pay for water. Water is going to be poisoned, and it's already happening. It's happening here in Colorado. It's happening all over. In my workshops, it's raining blood into the Nile right now as we speak. Right now as we speak, it is raining blood into the Nile. This is the earth going for everything that has to leave. Okay. It does it through weather patterning, through shifting of earth and land and water, through all the toxicity rising and plagues rising because there's a virus matrix wall. And if you have not healed all of the virus matrix wall out of you, you can succumb to plagues. That's karma. That's what that is. You have to heal all of the matrix out of you. You have to choose the light of the one or the sun and the moon. Or you choose the fallen, the karmic demise. Okay. But those who choose will rise out of this. They're not going to succumb to this suffering. Okay. And again, I hear a lot of people talking about chosen ones. That makes people feel like maybe I'm not a chosen one. Bull to the crap to the bull. Okay. Everybody who's here is a chosen one. Everybody. You just have to choose to see beyond the illusion. Those are the chosen ones, the ones who are ready to rise. They choose through free will. That's the thing. So when people, even like De La Roca and Landria Anka, all those people talk about, are you a chosen one? Are you a chosen one? You have free will. So again, just like Jesus couldn't die for your sins, God is not going to sit here and go, I choose you, you, and you. It's, do you choose you? Do you choose to rise? Do you choose to lift past the karmic demise? Do you choose to do the work to heal it all, to not throw judgments towards the light of the one? Do you choose to release those shackles that bind you, or do you choose to allow the shadow to blind you? That's a chosen one. Through free will. God cannot negate your free will, which is why Jesus couldn't die for your sins. That makes no sense. If you don't want to heal your karma through your free will, you cannot rise. And the time to rise is now, not 2 years. You don't have time to heal it anymore. God took that away because there were too many people who were resisting the change. Okay. So let's see this again. Apollo says, arrangement of many things oftentimes feels of stings. Vibrational shifts to match energies. You have to match that of love or it hurts. Okay. Separate yourself from the collective soul now and step into the hollow, because this is a great reset of the collective soul. So do you want to be a part of the reset, or do you want to be a part of the new earth, the golden era? Emptiness, nothingness, structural shifts already occurring, rifts reassuring. They're already happening. Nothing will stay the same either way you go. Allow your soul to glow like it was your last day on earth. 4444. Because either way it is. I'm going to say that again. This is Apollo's message, by the way, if you're stepping in. Allow your soul to glow, your light to shine, like it was your last day on earth. Because either way you go, it is. Because the earth is changing every second of every breath. Change is current to life's flow. Change and current to life's flow. Blueprint of life has shifted, meaning what will work now didn't work 2 moments ago because it shifted. If you're trying to do things through the matrix, you will fall. You cannot stay the same. And I'm going to tell you why. Some of you are rising. Others are going other places. Nothing will remain as it once was. And I mean nothing. These shifts are so big. They're beyond what you can understand. They're massive shifts. Okay, this is a great reset of mankind, what God calls the seventh wave of creation. Okay, God who made mortals. Oh, that is Apollo. He is the God who made the mortals aware of their own guilt and healed them for it. Divine distance, bringer of plagues, but he was also a healer of the plagues. Okay. So when they say the gods are the bringer of the plagues, that is false. Gods do not bring these things. God did not cause the shift or the flood. God did not cause the veil. And if you don't believe that, I don't know what to tell you. Okay. God is good. God is unconditional love. God is light. God is laughter. God is joy. God is gratitude. How can that match a vibration of I'm going to rain plagues upon you? That's the matrix. The matrix caused the plagues, the sicknesses, the genetic modifications, all the illnesses. That's the matrix. In the path to righteousness, these ladies will tell you, I heal all of those out of you. I heal every ailment, every karmic demise, every shadow blueprint has to be healed to rise. So that's what these are trying to tell you is if you have the matrix within you, you cannot rise. The more you heal it out, the more you rise. The more you choose unconditional love rather than the resistance, the more you rise. And you better believe I will spark that resistance in you because they don't want you hearing the truth. Oh, no. That's why there's so much resistance against what I've done. That's why God said, enough. The time is now to rise. And only the ones who are going to make it have no karma, my friends. They're seeing through that lens of love. Okay. So now I'm going to tell you about the 13 gates. And if you weren't ready to hear about what happened to Jesus, you are not going to be ready to hear this. Because again, Jesus did not die on the cross. He was poisoned by John the Apostle, what they called the Last Supper, which is why in religion, they would feed you that over and over again and make you think that was good. Okay. Then he bled out from every orifice. They made Mary steal his blood. She was screaming in pain and drenched in his blood. And John the Apostle and 3 others made her gather that blood in a cup. And that's what they convinced you was the Holy Grail, which was not. Then they took that blood and wrote a contract in Hebrew, trapping all of you and stole his soul. And that is what I fought so hard for with my twin flame. And that is why he died. He didn't make it. And I got a walk in. Okay. Then after that came Sekhmet and Horus, where I freed Horus's soul from the Sphinx. Okay. And this was all while I was activating pyramids, bringing down the blood of Christ, and undoing all of the darkness. Okay. And then came the Nile portal, which is Sekhmet and Horus. That's the timeline of reality of what happened in the past. Okay. The sun and the moon go with Sekhmet and Horus. Thoth was not a god. Thoth stole Horus. Maybe he was at one point, but he was not the god of the moon. He killed Horus. Okay. Then Sekhmet built the Sphinx, my lifetime, over Horus, where he died. That was the Sphinx. Yeah. Why? If pyramids are shrines, what do you think the Sphinx is? Okay. Because Sekhmet and Horus are the lion gods. They are the sun and the moon. They are your eye of Horus and your eye of Ra in your brain. That's your pineal gland. That's your connection to God. You feeling me yet? Then after that timeline, and I healed the darkness of the crystal, called that power back. Adam and Eve timeline came. Okay, so Adam and Eve were divided and murdered. Adam chose a false goddess. Okay, that brown snake came out the other day. Let me tell you, that was freaky as all get. I got a visual of exactly what happened to me as Eve. It was not pretty, and it took me a whole day to process. And I just sat on my ass and I cried and I had a headache, and it was tough. It was tough. It was tough to go through that, to see what happened. The snake was scary in my dream, like it was real what happened to us. It was very real. And it's not easy to process. And so these portals are not easy to make it through, because you can't bring your lessons into the new earth. You have to be done with them. You have to be done with the lessons outside of love, or you won't make it. Okay, it's for those that are ready to have joy and gratitude and love and be the wholeness and the power that they are, not the ones who have to learn karmic lessons in love. Okay, because what happened to Adam and Eve, that's what I'm processing now. I began implementing the Ascension portals 10 days ago. 10 days ago, I began implementing the Ascension portals. I reactivated the pyramids during the Return of Christ work. I freed Jesus' soul. I united all fragmented parts of my soul back to Adam and Eve, Jesus and Mary Magdalene, Sekhmet and Hours. I closed down all 12 gates of darkness, and I opened up the 13th to heaven. Then I processed the earth's death, and I birthed the new earth. Okay? The new earth has already been born and created. Then 10 days ago, I started implementing the portals. You now have to rise. You now have to rise. Things will not stay the same, from your weather patterning to your foods. All the poisons are rising. And if you're anchored into that matrix, you will suffer that karmic play out. Okay, because the darkness is that shadow. The darkness got in your head and got you through free will to create your karma. So if you don't rise out of that, you're going to fall with that karmic patterning. That's the return of Christ. Day 1, the first portal I implemented was Fiji. Okay, I anchored it in. I created the steps to heaven. That's what they're called. Stairway to heaven, 13 gates to heaven. Gate 1, let me go back, because I'm on. We just did gate 9 today. Okay, and I'm going to tell you what they were. So gate 1. Let's see, what did I do? Where did I write it down? I'm trying to remember. It was Fiji. Okay, they've gotten bigger. The last few gates have gotten very intense, very insane, and bigger. Gate 2, I think, was Indonesia. I implemented the pyramid of Indonesia, and each time I do that, the earth is rising. Okay, so what you don't realize is I implemented the Ascension. It is happening right now in real time. All right, I've already done all the work to make it happen, and now you have to rise. So that's why God said only those who with no karma, who are balanced from their heart center, are going to make it all the way through now. We are in a karmic play out, and you're seeing that happen everywhere. That's why all these plagues are rising. That's why all these things are happening. Waters are becoming tainted. It's a real thing, okay? Gate number 5 was a big one, but that was more like what was 5? You guys, I'm trying to remember what these were. Oh, gate 5. Okay, that was about releasing doubt, fear, expectations, and lack, and taking our power back. Okay, and I didn't write. So they're all recorded. I just have not uploaded those yet. So I'm trying to remember them, because once gate 6, 7, 8, 9 hit, I've been processing Adam and Eve a lot. Okay. Gate 5 came and kicked our ass. Gate 5, I don't remember which portal it was. Gate 6 was another one. Okay. Gate 7 was Budapest. Okay. I talked about, and I've been writing them down. They're in the comments. They're on Facebook. I've been talking about it. They're recorded, but because I'm processing them and I channel them, right? I can't make them up. So I can't just go boop, boop, boop. I'd have to upload the videos, which I will do someday. Unless you guys can remember, let's see, I'm trying to, because I didn't write them all down. So gate 4 was a release of karmic ties, hidden emotional dysregulations. Machu Picchu. So gate 4 was Machu Picchu. So it was Fiji, Indonesia, Myanmar, Machu Picchu. Those were the first portal gates. Okay. And Mount Shasta goes with Fiji. Mount Shasta goes with a few of them. So they kind of co-connect because Mount Shasta is darkness. Okay. So you have to release those shackles. So gate 1 was Fiji. Gate 2 was Indonesia. Gate 3 was Myanmar. Gate 4 was Machu Picchu. Gate 5 was Thailand. I'm remembering it now. Gate 5 was Thailand. And then gate 6 portal, and these are the pyramids I activated since 2019. They're on this channel. 5555. Gate 6, Kilimanjaro, I think it was. Yeah. Gate 6, I believe, went into Kilimanjaro. And that was when Mount Shasta came in. So, yeah, gate 4 was birthing of Atlantis. We rebirthed Atlantis. But the pyramid itself was Machu Picchu. Because I died, Machu Picchu, Lake Titicaca was all Atlantis, okay? So that's right. Thank you. So gate 4, we birthed Atlantis, which was Machu Picchu portal. That was the pyramid of Machu Picchu. These are the ones I'm ascending the earth through, okay? And then gate 5 was Thailand. Gate 6 was Kilimanjaro. That was the first masculine portal that came in. And then, boy, did my life start changing, okay? Gate 6 was the brain and water. Okay, so in gate 6, it was about mind control. Mount Shasta and Kilimanjaro came into play, and Fiji again came into play. And then that one was the red dragon. So there's parts of the Revelations where it talks about how do you know if it's the return of Christ? Well, you'll have the red dragon, the deep blue sea, and things like that. Okay, so the 6th portal that the earth is going through, you have to be able to be free of the mind. The red dragon truly talks about mind control. All right. And that was part of what in the return of Christ I had to battle with the fallen. And that was Mount Shasta and Fiji and Kilimanjaro. Okay. I activated Kilimanjaro about a year ago. And that was a masculine. Kilimanjaro was a masculine pyramid. Okay. Fiji was a feminine. And Mount Shasta was not of light at all. Okay. 6 is a very big one. If you do not have control of your mind, if you do not have your own control of you can't tell what is darkness to light and how that programming gets in. 6, you can't pass it. Okay. That's why I talk about Mount Shasta. You have to be in control of your mind. That's why meditation, you have to take that like deeper than you've ever done it, right? You can't just let those thoughts pass. You have to really, truly get in that heart space and take back your power of the mind, because that's that 666. That's the mark of the beast. That shadow gets in your head and you have free will. So those thoughts of darkness or painful self-verbiage, right? Like not speaking of love, not seeing of love, not feeling love. Those are parts of that shadow. Those are parts of wounds and karmic programming. And if you can't rise above that and gain that power and say, no, I don't choose that to be my reality. I choose this. I choose love. I choose love over money. I choose love over these things. 6 is not penetrable for you. Okay. There are people, those are what they would call the sheeple, that programming of the mind. 6 was the red dragon portal. And if you don't have power of your mind, you won't make it past that one. If you can't say, oh, that's not love. I choose love. I'm not going to throw judgment because judgment's a reflection of me. If you can't say, no, I have power to create money. I know I'm powerful. I call my power back. I'm not afraid of these things. I don't choose money over love. I don't choose fear over love. I can see past that illusion. That's portal 6. Okay. That was the red dragon. And it came into play. I tamed the red dragon in that one. That's how it played out. Okay. And the pyramid in portal 6 was Kilimanjaro. Portal 7 was Adam and Eve. That was a big one. Portal 7 was Budapest. It kept saying Budapest unrest. Budapest was a female pyramid. So here we are going back to the feminine pyramids. Kilimanjaro was a masculine one that me and my DM activated. Okay. Budapest was a female pyramid. So we're kind of going back and forth between the feminine and masculine pyramids as the earth is rising right now. On day 7, I had a power surge. Everything shut down and tried to block me from day 7. It was intense. Then my DM came in on day 7 and we healed some very big things. Okay. Budapest unrest. The Budapest was the pyramid that I aligned. I shifted and I caused the earth to shift through. Okay. And it had to do with self-power. You have to realize that that's what karma is you gave your power away to the shadow. You either choose love and stand in your own power, or you give your power away to fear, money, ego, judgment, all those shackles that bind you. During day 7, these are recorded. Okay. These are things that I've been doing. We just did day 9 today. After day 7, I had to take one day off and process what happened to me as Eve. Do you hear what I'm saying to you? Okay. In day 1 of birthing New Earth, God put me and my DM back together. It was very painful in my solar plexus. We had to release that, and I've been processing it. We've been healing it out ever since. That was on August 1st during Lionsgate Portal. Then I started birthing the New Earth, you guys. Now I'm implementing the portals that I activated since 2019. These are the pyramids that I've reactivated, that we've healed and I've reactivated. Okay. Those pyramids are your ascension portals. These are the testaments that they would talk about in Revelations of God. Do you choose love or do you choose karmic play out? It's all there. It makes sense. Just don't judge it, because I'm going to spark that in you. I'm going to spark your shadow. Okay. It's your job to see past that, to sit still and rise above it, to see truth, to choose love. Those that do that are the ones who are going to rise right now. If you can't do that, it's hard to rise through that. These pyramids are the portals. Okay. And I'm implementing them right now. 22222. So day 7 came in. I shifted Budapest again. Budapest, there's a pyramid there that I activated. And it turns out I have to do research after I do these things. I kept hearing Budapest unrest, and I kept seeing Budapest being like a war zone. And I didn't even know where it is. I had to look it up. This is what I have to do. And so I learned that Budapest is kind of like 80% destroyed. It's very low in vibration. It was also part of some kind of Jewish Auschwitz is what I looked up. Something about Auschwitz, and they had like their own Jews sector or something like that. And all religion is not of God. Yeah, it was like a Jewish Holocaust, but it wasn't. I don't know if it's the one that we know. I don't know, right? Because it's Budapest. This is over by Ukraine and all of that. And that was one of the pyramids. You guys, there's a pyramid in Budapest. The pyramids I activated are not ones you know of. Okay, the only ones that you're familiar with that I messed with was the Sphinx. And that is where Horus rose from. Okay, Horus died there. And that is relevant for the portals. Okay. But the rest of the pyramids and most of those in Egypt that we're familiar with are burial grounds. Okay. And there's a reason they would use those to bury their loved ones in the time of Egypt, because the portals of ascension are the pyramids. Okay. But the pyramids that I activated are Fiji, Myanmar, Machu Picchu, Budapest, Thailand. Okay. Indonesia, Kilimanjaro, Congo, British Columbia. Okay. And some are underwater. The one in Fiji was underwater. And that is where the God portal is and where it was reopened. So that's why the gods are here. That's why the message from Apollo came today. Okay. So as I'm implementing these portals now, I've already done all the work to them over the last 5 years, but now the ascension is occurring. It's now. Okay. So today we did day 9, because there's 13 gates into the new earth. Are you feeling me yet? There's 13, 444. There's 13 gates into the new earth, not 12. They lied about that too. Because the 13th is heaven. It's heaven on earth. It's the gates of heaven open up. They've already opened. And so to rise is healing back to love. To rise is letting go of all that shadow. The more you heal, the more love you see, your vibration's higher. The higher your vibration goes, you're rising through those portals. Okay, but you have to release all the shackles. You have to heal all that karma. You have to. The virus matrix wall, you heal it. Okay. It's not like God's punishing. That's just the matrix just trash, right? Like it's the matrix yuck. It's the genetic blueprint that's not God. Okay. The foods they changed, it's all playing out. That's what's happening. Okay. So God's not here to punish. That's false. That's the false religion aspect. God is love. He already loves you. It's through your free will. He can't make you choose love. He can't make you heal. He can't make you learn you're ready to just be love. He can't make you. That's why it's a rite of passage. And that's why everybody's chosen. Please understand that. All of these people are like, are you a chosen one? If you're here, you're chosen. If you have a breath and you're connected to the light, you're chosen. But it's just he can't force you to choose love. He can't force you to rise past the resistance and to take all your power back from where you gave it to the shadow. That's what creates karma, is giving your power away to those things outside of unconditional love. If you give your power away to fear, that's creating karma. And then you're going to have a fear blueprint, a fear play out. But if you're like, no, I'm a powerful creator. I know fear's not of God. I know I'm love. I know I can call in money. So if money is more important than love, that's karma. Okay. Money was created through darkness. All right. So understand that. So the 6th portal is a very powerful one. And that one we did 4 days ago. Today was day 9. The 6th was the red dragon. That's what the Bible talks about as a red dragon. It's the portal of the mind. Okay. You have to be completely in control of your own mind. We have a collective mind funk, right? It's like all that junk, all the shadow gets in your head and creates these thoughts that are not love. And if you pick them up and give your power to them, then you're binding and you're blinding. You become blinded. That's that veil. Okay. But if you choose to rise above and you choose love and you choose, no, that's not love, internal discernment, then you're gaining your power back. Okay. Every time those negative thoughts comes in, you don't pick them up. Do not create them into your reality. Self-love is God. Okay. True love, unconditional love. I'm love. I'm power. I rise above. That's the difference between those that are rising to those that won't be able to. Because they won't choose love. They'll choose the matrix programming. They'll choose the religious programming. It's not real. It's a shadow. They lied to you. The cross is the Ankh. Okay, it broke when they separated the masculine and feminine. It broke when they created the Holy Grail, which was not of light. Okay. Now, gate 7, I'm pausing on because it kicked my ass. And I'm going to tell you why. If you watch the birthing of the new earth, which a lot of people weren't ready for, that just happened on August 1st, and it's on my channel. It's in my playlist of the Ascension playlist. It's down at the very end of that playlist. It started this August, birthing the new earth. Day 1, that was like when they talk about God created Adam and Eve. Well, God fully united my DM and I. It was through my solar plexus and it hurt. And then he put our feet into the core and we started birthing like all this beauty in the new earth. And we separated the matrix fully from the new earth. Okay. Gate 7 was Budapest. That was the Pyramid of Budapest. That's the one I implemented for the Ascension portal for gate number 7. And I have to shift them and align all of these pyramid portals. Okay, that's what I do. And then you have to be healed so much to make it through this gate. This gate talked about lack, what holds you back. You have to release of everything that holds you back, right? Because you're a powerful creator. Everything happens through free will, even darkness. Okay. Either darkness or light. It's through your free will. That's why everybody's a chosen one. I don't like it how they talk about, oh, the 144,000. Oh, are you a chosen one? You guys, you all are. Everybody is, because you have free will. God loves everybody. That's the thing, okay? But you have free, and I get so many chills when I say that. And I even watch like De La Roca. I watch all of them talk about that. Are you a chosen one? How to know if you all are? Because of free will. That's what they use against you, is your free will, the darkness. It gets in your head and you create through free will the things outside of unconditional love. That's what creates karma. Okay. If you can understand that, you'll be like, boom, that'll cause you to shoot right up. Okay. Because if you pick up the choices of fear, or I need money more than I need this, and oh, that's a stupid thing to do, and those judgment things, and even against yourself, that's not God. Okay. Fear is not God. Money control is not God. Division is not God at all. So, how can you have all these divisions of unrest and that be God? It can't be. The reason they do that is to take power away. Because if we're united through unconditional love, we are powerful. And that's what the media would use against you, okay? Is your power. Because if they can get everybody to believe one thing, it's created in the reality. Okay? So in gate number 7, I hesitate on this because it's a lot to understand, and I don't want anybody to shut down in hearing this because it's very important. But if you don't see it, that's okay. 11111, because it's true, and they're recorded, and I will upload them when it's time. They're going through it with me. As I'm implementing the portals, the ascension portals, the earth is rising now. Okay, you have to be aligned to love. You have to be heart-centered, open in the heart space, willing to awaken, and willing to let all karmic patterning go. Okay, period. You got to be healed. Like, you got to heal it now. Gate 4, we did Atlantis. That was Machu Picchu pyramid. Okay. Gate 5 was Thailand pyramid, and it was a lot of healing required for that one too. Gate 6 was the portal of the dragon and the brain. And they also said a lot about water. In gate 6, it was a lot about water. A lot of places won't have drinkable water. Their water is just tainted. And that's because all of the crap is rising. It was already there. It was just, gate 6 was very big, and it's the portal of the mind. If you don't have control of your mind and your thoughts, that's where you'll stop. Gate 7 went into Adam and Eve time territory, because after gate 7, I had to take a day off and processed what happened in Eve time. Okay. Gate 7 was Budapest. And in that one, my DM came through. And I threw up like the energy of the false goddess energetically. Okay. I'm not saying I just went bleh and really it just was energetically. It was painfully, and I like processed it out. My DM actually kind of spoke into the energy, because we are aligned at our soul is truly like half my left side, and the right is the feminine. Okay. It's real. That's been my journey, is uniting to the wholeness of my twin soul. Okay. And clearing out all the darkness that separated us, back to Adam and Eve. It's not Jesus. That's the whole part of it. It's back to Adam and Eve. It includes Jesus though, and Mary Magdalene. That was the resurrection time frame and the blood of Christ and all that. Okay. So it's a lot, but hear me. In gate 7, we started doing it, and we were releasing all of this stuff, and all of what happened to Adam and Eve affected all of you. It affected mankind. It affected everything, because you're direct descendants of the gods of time, right? Adam and Eve and other ones. And so it's a big deal. Okay. And it affects all of you. You're masculine and feminine, and that got out of balance, which just everything became so rough and tough and shackled. And that was the shadow takeover. Okay. So back to Adam and Eve. After day 7 happened, that was the Budapest unrest. You have to be free of all lack and everything that holds you back, karmic cleansing. Self-power. You have to know your power, and you have to be calling your power back. Also trust. Okay. And to be free, to be sovereign. You have to be a pure sovereign to rise. Okay. So I can't be controlled by the matrix in any way. So gate 7 was big. Then my DM came in and we released some stuff. And this was from Adam and Eve timeline. And then that night, I went to bed and I had a dream. And dreams, you can receive a lot of understanding through dreams, and it was still processing what happened on day 7. This dream occurred between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m. in the morning because I had woke up and I was feeling that I needed to release some more. So I did at 3 a.m. and I was doing the Ho'oponopono prayer because I just felt I needed to. So I was internally saying it internally to like where my soul meets, right? Does that make sense? As a twin flame. I felt the need and I went in and I was just like, I'm sorry, please forgive me. I love you and I thank you. And it was just a lot of this repetition going on in my energy and I fell back to sleep. And then between that time frame of 3:30 and 5:30, no, 8 a.m., sorry, is when I woke up from the dream. I was like, "Phew." So it was between 3:30 and 8 a.m. The dream was I was in my home and we had these beautiful gardens. It was like these beautiful gardens. This dream is important. It's what happened to Eve. Okay. So if you just left, you're going to miss something important, but maybe you're not ready to hear it. That's okay too. But there were these big gardens in my home and I was planting seeds. These seeds were like big, they were massive and they were beautiful. And I was in awe of the greenery and the plants that I was growing in my garden. It was like this garden and it was my home, which that's the Garden of Eden, Eve. Okay. And it took me a while to process this. I couldn't do day 8 that day. I had to take a day off. I had a massive migraine after this and I cried a lot. Um, so I was planting seeds in my garden and it was very real. It was very real, as if I was there. And my daughter was over here. We had to clean out the vacuum because she was cleaning up some stuff, right? So it's kind of like modern day mixed in there. And I would go back to my garden and my brother showed up and tried to get me to like smoke some pot with him. And I was like, this is in my dream. This is after gate 7, portal 7 of Budapest. And I'm like, and I was like, that's weird. And cigarettes, and I don't do these things. I had to quit smoking. My other DM had an addiction thing we had to heal. Okay. This is Adam and Eve timeline. You know how they talk about the snake in the Bible? Well, listen, this is about to come out. So I was planting these seeds in the garden, and the garden was beautiful, and I was in awe of the plants. And then I went back to plant the seed, and the seeds were big. And as soon as I went to dig, out of the grass came this snake, and it was brown. And it was not like the snakes that I would upgrade through on the Return of Christ stuff. It was different. This was it was very brown, and then it had like these black triangles on it. And I became scared, and I started backing up, going, ah! And it started coming out of the garden and it was like, and it had its eyes on me and I'm like backing up going, and I screamed, David. And David was the name of my original DM in this lifetime, the one who died on August 30th of 22. He didn't make it and I got to walk in. And that was before the resurrection. Okay. So this is all relevant. And I was like screaming, David, help me, help me. And I'm backing up. And the snake is like, so it just keeps coming out of my garden and it's looking beeline right at me. And I'm like backing up, going, like so scared. And I scream for David and he comes up and he just looks. He just watched. He didn't step in. He didn't intervene. And I had like all these temptations coming at me and I had to process this. Then all of a sudden the snake threw up a white mouse. It just literally coming at me, threw up a white mouse. And I was like, wow, in real life, I might freak out over a mouse. I'm like, wow, or snakes. But this was what I was processing after gate 7 of the Ascension portal. Okay. My DM did some major healing in that one. And this is what I processed that night. And I'm like, what? A white rat. The rat was still alive. And then they both like looked at me and the snake still was coming for me. And my DM, David, wasn't doing, I was like, David, help me. And he was just watching. And then I woke up and I was like, poof. And it was like, I was shaking, I was sweating and I was crying. And I had to process that. At first, I'm like, what did I do? What's happening? What's coming? What does this mean? Like, what does this mean? I know snakes usually mean like a power upgrade. You're calling your power back, things like that. I don't, I took me a minute to process what was happening. And it took that whole day. I couldn't do day 8 until the next day. And in truth, what happened was apparently there was a brown snake, all the temptations that were coming at me. But then this time it puked up a white rat. And it truly symbolizes that we've cleared it. But I had to process what truly happened. Now, if you know what really happened, Adam chose a false goddess. Okay. We both got hit with things, with temptation, got out of balance. Okay. But the snake was very real in my dream. I was like having a panic attack. I was kind of freaking out. I was processing it. I was sweating. I was crying. And then I kept seeing the white rat in my mind's eye, and it was all slimy and still alive, but started to regurgitate. It was gross. And I was like, so I was trying to process all of this, what this message was, what was happening in my energy. And it was overwhelming. I was crying and I needed my DM so bad. I felt so alone. I felt so alone. Because during gate 7, I threw up the false goddess. Okay. So that's why this was processing out. And in that dream, my DM did nothing to protect me. Nothing at all. And Eve died first, okay, in that time frame. I drowned at Lake Titicaca. And I saw that when I was activating the dormant chakra system a few years ago. I processed that death then. So I know how I died. Then I saw the white flame go out, and then I saw the flood come. Okay. And that's because they shifted the poles. That's God didn't cause the flood, the fallen did. They shifted the poles. They messed with the sun and the moon, the seasons. They messed with everything. Okay. They shortened your lifespan. They took out Adam and Eve first, causing the divide, the division. They caused an imbalance, which blinded the masculine. And then he actually chose a false goddess. Okay. So they both got out of balance. And then the masculine couldn't see. And then once that false goddess was chosen, Eve died first. And that's what I was processing out after day 7. And it did show up as that brown snake. Like that snake was very large and very real. And it came out of my garden and it chased me and it threw up a white rat. Now, the white rat I'd never heard of. I'm like, what does this mean? And the conclusion I've come to after processing it is we have white rats are very rare. And they represent like purity. The only white mice that you get are the lab created ones. There's only like 2% population of rats that become albinic, white, and it represents purity. Okay. So all of what happened to Adam and Eve, I processed it. It's cleared. Okay. You guys, this ascension is very real. It's very powerful. And no matter what, you can't remain the same. You either choose to let go of the matrix, the fear, the shackles that bind you, and the shadow that blinds you to rise, or either way, you have to change. You can't stay here. These portals are very real. The pyramid activations are very real, and that's why Apollo gave his message today. That's why this mass awakening is occurring. That's why these diseases are rising. That's why these assassination attempts are occurring, because there's big things happening. They're bigger than you. They're bigger than your mind can comprehend. Okay. They're huge. So that was gate 7. That was Budapest. I processed what happened to me as Eve. And it was shocking. I spent the day crying, and I couldn't do portal number 7 or number 8. And so then yesterday I was able to get right back on the saddle and go into gate 8. Gate 8, this one's very interesting. Okay, this is very interesting because this was when Nigeria, Botswana, and Zimbabwe portal came in. All right, there was pyramids where I like created this pyramid line there. And it was Botswana, Zimbabwe, and Nigeria in the energy. And I had to look up where these were in relevance to the Nile because it came in. Okay. Gate 8 was yesterday. And it's about relinquishing control. All right. Because the matrix wants to control you through fear, through ego, through judgment, through money. So you have to be you cannot be in the matrix. All right. You cannot be. You have to be pure sovereign. You have to be heart-centered and balanced at this point. So gate 8 came in as the much like on the 8th day of birthing the new earth, 888. It is the infinity symbol. It's the symbol of life, birth, and re-death, right? Life. I'm probably saying it wrong because I got all emotional. The rebirth cycle of life. Okay. Life, death, rebirth. I have it written down. And these are all recorded, and I will upload them, but we're not done with them yet. I do upload all proof. I have nothing to hide. It was my lifetimes, and it was very painful. And I'm going to tell you right now, the return of Christ is not just a man named Jesus. And I wouldn't want to make these up if I what purpose do I gain from saying that these were my lifetimes? None. I gain absolutely none. I've been doing healings on people. When I activated the pyramids, my heart became enlarged because I had to use my own light. I swelled up when my DM died. I was attacked physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. It took everything I had. Everything I had. My life as a psychologist is no more. I became the master healer that I am. So it was a big shift. It was painful, and I got a lot of judgment. So what have I gained? I gained my earth back. That's what we gained. I gained my twin soul back. So I'm good there. But to say these aren't real, it doesn't do any good for anybody. Okay. The proof is there. The proof is there. And those that work with me know. You can't deny it. Because I do things differently. My healings, everything I do is very different. And you're all a chosen because you all have free will. Okay. So for those that are rising and that want to hear this, the 8th portal of Ascension, there's 13 to New Earth, okay? You have no choice. You're going through all of them now. And if you're not healed of these shackles, your karmic ties, you can only make it to where that becomes your demise, okay? You have to heal it all. You have to see beyond the resistance. You have to let go of those matrix ties, okay? I have nothing to gain other than to help you, and that's my goal. But I can't force you to hear me. I can't force you to see the truth. So after processing what happened to me as Eve, and I was not well that day, the next day we went into Portal 8. And that is when Nigeria, Botswana, and Zimbabwe came in, and it continued into today, Gate 9. And it's rather cool to hear this, okay? Because Gate 9 became the Congo. The Congo I brought in to Nigeria. So in Revelations, you know how it talks about north, east, south, and the west, the directional pole, and how there were like angels or apostles or something standing at each line. Well, part of what I've done and what I kept talking about when I was activating the pyramids years ago was that I had to repair the west back to the north. I kept repeating that. Do you guys remember that? Those that worked with me, I would say continually, I need to repair the west back to the north. And I didn't know what that meant. Never did I know until I did it and would process it, because these things were bigger than me too, as part of my awakening. But I always talked about I have to repair the west back to the north. And that was part of the recalibration. Okay. I did that one too in the Return of Christ work, is that I had to recalibrate the Earth's equilibrium. I had to heal the Christ light line from the west back to the north. You know how like they always talk about north, east, south, and the west, and they'll call those in into like spell casting and stuff. It should be west back to the north included. Okay, now this comes in Portal 8 and 9. It has to do with that. Okay, Portal 8, the pyramids that are in play in Portal 8 are Nigeria, Botswana, and Zimbabwe. They're a complete portal line. Now, while I was activating pyramids, Ghana came up a lot. The gods, whatever, lightning strike Ghana, because whether you call it the cabal or there's all kinds of names for it. No matter what you call it, the Illuminati or cabal, it's all the same. Okay, it's the same energy with different names. The KKK, doesn't matter what you call it, it's the same energy with different names. Okay, they just have different sectors, whatever you want to call them. It's all the same thing. It's all the tangled web they weave. It's all the darkness control. Okay, Ghana is a main place for that. Okay, so Africa, I've done a lot of work in pyramids there. Just wasn't in Egypt the ones you think. Okay, Portal 8 has to do with relinquishing control. And it had to do with Nigeria, Botswana, Zimbabwe. I drew a line in those, and I think I rotated it from the east to the south, and I put it back down. And then we did all this healing, and it has to do with, here's the message they gave for Portal 8. Strange encounters at your door, ones you simply can't ignore. Relinquishing control allows one to rise freely. That's the control of the shackles, the matrix, okay? Rising to heaven all the way. Focus not outward, only in. That's your compass, your internal compass. And allow the shifting newness to begin. The crown games end. Okay. Time must rewind. And then it was the 8. Okay, this was portal 8, which on also the birthing of the new earth on Lionsgate 888 was the portal of time. That was where your heart reviews are playing out. Okay. Karmic demise. So hear this. Today was portal 9. I just implemented it into the earth. These are the pyramids. And from Nigeria, I drew a line to the Congo. And I had to look it up. I'm like, where's Congo? And it's part of the same area. Democratic Republic of the Congo. And that was one of the masculine pyramids. Nigeria was a feminine one. Congo is a masculine pyramid that I activated like a year ago. The masculine ones were more recent because that's when I got my new DM and he helped me activate those. So we drew a line and I told you I had to repair the west back to the north. Okay. We drew a line with the light of the sun and the light of the moon. And it was like, I kept saying it's like a big earthquake, the earth shifting, the earth splitting. And this is a portal wall. So we drew a line from Nigeria to the Congo pyramids. And in order to pass this one, it's about surrendering and accepting the changes, okay? Going with the flow, not that resistance, okay? And it had to do with symbol activation. So in gate 8, I also didn't talk about the Jesus aspect of that. That was Mercy's gate. Heaven can't wait. It said Mercy's gate, heaven can't wait. Zad Kyle came in with that message. And in gate 8, these are recorded, okay? And I will upload them, I promise you, as soon as we're done. That's what I do. I'm not afraid to share this and prove it. And these guys are doing it with me. It's painful healing. Like you heal a lot, okay? But in gate 8, the Jesus stuff came through again. And all the religion and the crosses burned all over the globe. That's what this one talks about. This painting came in through it came through a channeled message and I painted it. You see the pyramids? And then there's a big earthquake that has to do with like Mount Shasta and changes of tides coming in through San Francisco. That's the bridge. Then this was the crosses in the Bible, right? And all the souls that it trapped being freed. Okay, because it's a shadow complex. God is all one. God is all connectedness. There is no division, no judgment, please. Okay, that's wrong. All right. You have free will. It was your choice to give your power away. You just got to get it back. All right. You got to heal those things. And that's your key to rise. You're all a chosen one. Please don't think that God just picks and chooses. That's not the case. Okay. It's just, do you choose love or do you choose judgment and fear and ego and money control? All right. So gate 8 dealt with a lot of our symbols being called back. Because they divided them and they showed me different areas in which they divide those symbols. One was through Jews, the symbol of David. That the Star of David is actually the Merkabah, and that's the masculine and feminine united. Okay, and so they called that one back from the Jews. The other one was the cross. It broke and burned, and we lit up with the Ankh. Okay, the Catholicism had some. There were symbols being divided all over to like witchcraft stuff and all. They just called all our symbols back, okay, and purified them and brought them all back to the wholeness of the one under the Ankh. That's what happened in gate 8. Okay, that's why I tell you religious is a shadow. You have to heal it. Okay, what happened is not the truth. Jesus did exist, but what happened is not the truth. The Holy Grail was not holy. And there shouldn't be any division. We should be all united under love. No division, no pain, no judgment, no separation, no bloodshed. None of that is God. Okay? So gate 8 and 9 kind of morph. Gate 8 was about mercy's gate. I kept saying, Lord, have mercy on your soul. You have to let go of that religion. all symbols were returned. Okay. To be made whole again under the light of God. I don't think that's an orb. There's nothing there. Did you guys see that? It looked like a big ball of fuzz flying around, but there ain't nothing there. That was weird. That was weird. All right. Anyways, look back on the recording when it's uploaded. So Nigeria, Botswana, Zimbabwe, all of this area is very important to repairing the West back to the North and calling back all symbols of light. You cannot use them in a division and a control and darkness anymore. You cannot. You cannot. Where there is bloodshed and souls trapped and abuse and neglect and poisoning and all this other kind of crap, that's not God, okay? So gate 8 was mercy's gate. If you have religion ties, you won't make it, all right? You have to just let it go. You have to heal it. You have to let it go. Gate 9 was repairing the West back to the North, and we added in Congo. So I drew a line from Nigeria to Congo pyramid, and then it was a wall of fire, and the Nile came into play. And it turns out, I had to look this up too, the Nile goes through the Congo. I didn't know that. Okay. So in today's gate 9, you'll see me go, I had to stop and look it up. I'm like, I saw something flying right here. I don't know. Maybe it was just me. That's why that person left. Who knows? There was something flying in the air. Anyways, and I saw it through the camera. It was subtle. You might have to look back. I didn't see anything flying. I'm like, what the hell? It almost looked like an orb, but I'm like, is that dust? Is that fuzz? It doesn't matter. So in gate, if you believe in orbs, then I guess it does, which I do. I know what they are. So in gate 9, it goes from gate 8 to gate 9, and that's the one I implemented today. And this is an ascension portal. If you can't hear me, you guys, then you have work to do, okay? And I want you to make it. This was the symbol activations. So they said for gate 9, it was symbol activations. Gate 8, I called them all back. I called the Jewish star back. We called all the ones from Christianity, Catholicism. Everything came back whole and complete. So the cross burned and became back to the Ankh. Anybody who had a cross on, they turned to ash. They had to reap what they sowed. Okay, so those that use the cross against you, those that hung Jesus on that cross because he didn't die on a cross. They actually burned him. What that represents is they stole his soul. They wrote a contract in his blood in Hebrew. Okay, and so you have all these divisions of religion were not true. They were all a part of divide and conquering you. Okay, because if they can get you to divide and turn against each other, you're weak. And you remove yourself from God. And then you take part in what happened to Jesus, to Mary Magdalene, and to Sekhmet and Hours. And Adam and Eve. Okay. So in Congo, I hope you guys understand this, and you guys may not have done it yet. Gate 9 is about surrendering and letting go. We called symbol activations in. Okay, so the wholeness of the symbols through the light of God. I repaired the West back to the North, and I drew a line from Nigeria to Congo pyramid, and I shifted them and anchored them in, which ascended the earth through portal 9. Okay. Gate 9, stairway to heaven is the way they're showing it at this time. We're on the 9th step to heaven. And in that, the Nile came in. And so I had to stop the video. I didn't stop the video, but I stopped the workshop. I looked it up, and the Nile does go through the Congo. Okay. And we walked the Nile. In day 8, it was raining blood into the Nile. Gate 8. Gate 9, we walked through the Nile. And through that divide, I divided it right through the Nile. Okay. So my DM and I took the staff, and he was with me this time. He helped me turn it because it's a masculine and a feminine pyramid in this one. Gate 9 was Congo and Nigeria, masculine and feminine pyramid. And he helped me draw a line from Nigeria to Congo with our staff of the sun and the light of the moon. And we filled it with a great northern star light. And so it repaired the West back to the North. I know this is beyond. That's why people can't hear this yet, probably. But for those that can, if you can, it's big. And then the Nile, we had to walk the Nile. And then in order to get through the Nile, you had to pass that barrier wall. Now I was questioning, I'm like, why are we already doing that at gate 9? But you have to understand is that God bypassed some time. He bypassed your ability to heal karma. So you are going to be pushed through some major portals. Okay. And each one of these, there's trumpets being played by angels and big changes being implemented on the matrix side. Okay. And in order to get through these gates, you have to be healed to the level they require. Okay, so gate 8, the Jesus, and gate 7 was Adam and Eve. Gate 8 came into the Jesus and Mary Magdalene, and gate 9 started the Nile. Okay, are you hearing me? So gate 9, we walked through the Nile where I drew a line. And I kept saying it's like an earthquake. It like divided the earth. And you have to walk through the Nile and make it through this portal. And on the other side of this one was red fire. And you had to let go and surrender. And all these things came through as well with my DM and I. It's about shifting to completion, erasing of depletion, finishing and repairing the correct foundation. Okay. So portal 9 was about shifting to completion, the west back to the north, erasing depletion, what was undone and changed. Okay. Surrendering to the newness, surrendering to letting go, surrendering your comfort zone. You have to expand your comfort zone. Going with the flow. Okay. Releasing all that resistance came in again. And then finishing and repairing the correct foundation, the west back to the north. And we had called back all symbols the day before. And in this one, we activated them all. So in gate 9 for Nigeria to the Congo, I divided the Nile and they will lose life support. Okay. To those that can't make it through this portal, the Nile finally came into play. It hasn't dried out yet, though, but this is still a Nile portal. This is still a Nile portal. Okay. Gate 9. And then we have 10, 11, 12, and 13 left to go. I only have 4 more left to implement to the earth. And so the earth is rising through these portals now. And if you can't hear me now, do the work and do it fast, because the truth is what shall set you free. Okay, so angels, gate 8 was the mercies gate. Heaven can't wait. Nigeria, Botswana, Zimbabwe. Relinquishing control, the figure 8, the infinity symbol. Life, death, rebirth, heart, home, letting go of all that is not. And we had to call all the symbols back of divination. Okay, so you know how on the dollar bill they have the pyramid with the triangle with the eye? We called that back. The Jewish symbol, the Star of David, is not a Jewish symbol. It's actually the Merkabah. We called that back. All of them, all the ones that they're using all over the globe, we called them back. Then in day 9, it was the symbol activation. So again, being made whole to the Ankh through the light of Christ. And even today, De La Roca said something about love, return, the kingdom of love, new kingdom being born, something like that. I'm like, yep, again, he's seeing what I'm doing. So I know this is a lot for some people to process, especially those that are not healed enough. But what I'm going to tell you right now is if you don't change, if you don't surrender to the truth, if you don't get out of your comfort zone of the matrix, you can't rise. But no matter who you are, I'm going to read Apollo's message one more time. Apollo came through the God of light. He is not the God of light, but if you actually read into who he was, he got to carry the God of light. So he got to encompass that. Okay. He is a God of prophecy, but the gods in general are all over right now. They are very much so rising. They say he's a God of disease. Again, I don't agree with that either. You can't, God and disease do not compute, because the disease is part of the matrix. It's a part of the shadow. It's created through that. It's created through changing our foods, genetic modifications, through changing all these power lines are not true. They're toxic to our survival, to our vibration. They don't match our vibration. Okay. All these divisions of water, all of these toxins and the medications, all of that does create sickness. Okay. So when they say Apollo or any other god is a god of disease, I don't agree with that. I don't. What this god truly represents is making you see your karma to help you rise out of it. So hello, Roger, coming in right at the end, my friend. So Apollo would talk about, you missed a whole bunch of stuff, but that's okay. Apollo would talk about, he's the god of music, god of prophecy, divine distance. So he's the God who made mortals aware of their own guilt and healed them from it. So guilt, I don't like that word either. Guilt is a toxicity. That's not of love. You should never have guilt. Never feel bad. Just choose to finally see and rise above. Okay. So I don't like guilt either. They always turn these things of God and light into darkness, and that's what you can't do anymore. Okay. So Apollo, I know it is a lot. It's a lot for people to process, especially if they can't hear what happened to Jesus. They're not going to know who I truly am yet, right? But Apollo, but I'll tell you right now, my DM helped me today. He was there and he helped me in the energy, and it was beautiful. It was quite beautiful. And then I processed what happened to me as Eve even further, and I saw the snake, and then the snake threw up the white rat. Like, that was a lot to process and understand what was happening, because it wasn't just a dream. I threw up the false goddess the day before, out of the energy, just processing it out, just finally clearing it out once and for all. And then puking up the white rat that was alive. It truly talks about, and it was somewhat regurgitated. It talks about what I've survived through, and what I've undone and what we've brought back. But so Apollo is the god that helps you see your karma. Let's make that right. Okay. Apollo is the god that helps you see your karma and to help you clear it. So you have to see the reflections to clear them, right? You have to see what you need to clear to heal it. And that's what Apollo talks about. Okay. So this was Apollo's message, and then I'm going to let it go. Okay, so arrangement of many things. And the energy right now is getting out of your comfort zone. If you cannot get out of the matrix comfort zone, you won't rise. If you're controlled by the shackles that bind, if you don't know how to call money in and be balanced from your heart center and a powerful creator on your own and pure sovereign, not bound by the shackles of the matrix, you won't make it. Okay. So Apollo is saying arrangement of many things. Oftentimes feels of stings, vibrational shifts to match energies. So when he says oftentimes, because they're kind of deep messages and I get images, and when he said oftentimes feels of stings, is that if you can't match the vibrational shifts, it hurts, okay? Because then it's a karmic play out. So you're either rising more to love and feeling great, or you're karmic playing out. Separate yourself from the collective soul. Okay. Step into the hollow. Emptiness and nothingness. Structural shifts already occurring. Rifts reassuring. Nothing will stay the same either way you go. So there's some people who will talk about, oh, people just want to stay and watch their Netflix and stay. You won't get to do that. You just won't be able to remain the same no matter which way you go. The earth, the structures you're familiar with, the comfort zone of the matrix is falling right before your eyes. Nothing will stay the same either way you go. Allow your soul to glow like it was your last day on earth, because either way it is. And when I say that, some people might go, oh my God, are we going to all die? No, well, I don't know, right? Either way you go, you have to consider this is your last day on this earth the way it is, because it is. Every day it's going to change. Okay. Every day it's going to rearrange. You're already going through the portals. So some will rise and some will fall. Okay. Allow your soul to glow like it was your last day on earth. So if you don't rise, the other alternative to going to the other side is falling with the matrix. If you fall with the matrix, you lose all ability to have any control, right? So consider that puppet master. You're fully in control of them, or they're fully in control of you. You gave your soul away, basically. So nothing will stay the same either way you go. Allow your soul to glow, okay? Like it was your last day on earth, because either way it is. Changes in current to life's flow, okay? Changes in current to life's flow. You know how they talk about vibration and energy? So when he says that, that's the image I get. Changes in current to life's flow. So life used to flow through the energy of the matrix, right? We had this way of doing things. You'd get into your flow, and that's the way you do things. You would go to work, you would pay your bills, all these kinds of things, right? That was survival. That's what we did to be here. We would have to pay for water, electricity. You would have to play by the game of the matrix, period. Some knew how to get out of it, but for the most part, they still had to do things a certain way. So there's a change in that, okay? Changes in the current to life's flow. So they're telling you is you can't do things the same anymore. You cannot, or it's going to start to go bam, okay? Because you have to live your life like it's your last day on earth the way it is, because it is. The earth has shifted. You guys don't understand what I'm doing. What I'm doing is Christ. What I'm doing is I have shifted the earth through the portal pyramids. I've shifted the earth. I've removed all darkness. And if you don't remove yourself from all that darkness, you either fall or you are removing it, clearing your karma and rising. Okay. So when he says changes in current to life's flow, means you have to change your vibration. Either way you go, it will change for you otherwise. Okay. So the blueprint of life has shifted. It's gone back to Adam and Eve, the true king and queen of earth. It has. And I've just processed that. Okay. So the blueprint of life has shifted. Some of you are rising, others are going other places. Nothing will remain as it once was. And I mean nothing. So the message that's entered this week is getting out of your comfort zone. You cannot stay in it. You have to find a new one. Either way you go, you're going to be either forced to be finding a new comfort zone with further control of the shadow, or you are rising to the new earth comfort zone. You're expanding into your power, your abilities, a pure sovereign being of light. Okay. Nothing will remain the same as it once was. And that came from Apollo. Okay. And I just explained to you what I'm doing with the portal implementations. All right. You guys, these are big. I literally processed what happened to me as Eve 3 nights ago. My DM is doing things in the energy. He's rising. I'm rising. We have fully united at a soul level all the way back to Adam and Eve now. And so what happened to Adam and Eve is clearing out of the collective soul. This is a great reset of mankind. So you cannot stay in that blueprint anymore. You cannot stay in what took apart God anymore. God is masculine and feminine. That is his light. That is his legacy. That is his light. That is his life. Okay. And you have to align with the masculine and feminine in you, with the Horus and raw activations in your pineal gland, with a pure open heart, pure sovereign being of love and balance from the heart center. You have to release all the shackles that divides and binds you and blinds you through the veil of illusion outside of God. Okay. So this was a lot, and a lot of people may not be able to hear it, but I'm here for those that can, because you don't have time anymore to release what blinds you. You don't. Okay. God ordered, he issued a great reset because people were not choosing past that resistance. So you better jump out of it fast now, because you don't have time to play. Homie, don't play. I'm implementing the portals now. All those pyramid activations that I did for 5 years, all that clearing, all the darkness, the union of my soul is all done. And now I'm taking those pyramid activations and I'm doing something with them to the earth. And so the earth is literally ascending right now as we speak. You are going through the portals of time. And the only way to make it through all of this shift is to be free of the shackles that bind, to be completely healed from your karmic demise of all lifetimes. Those are the ones who will rise above, because you cannot get into the new earth and still have lessons to learn outside of love. You cannot get into the earth and take part in ripping apart Adam and Eve ever again. Okay. So I know this was a lot, but you guys, if you're new here, I have a whole entire Ascension playlist. I had the path to righteousness, but you had to push past the resistance to receive these healings. You have to push past the resistance to see the truth of God, because the shadow doesn't want you to. The shadow doesn't want you free of religion. The shadow doesn't want you in your own power with money and abundance and love. Because if you do that, they have no power anymore. You're the only power they have left, because they fell away from God. And so they manipulate you. That's that puppet master, to take your power away. That's what kind of why they call them vampires. They suck the blood and the life right out of you. Sometimes literally. Depends on what side of that you're on. Hollywood, right? Anyways, gate 9 is done. We only have 4 more to go. And full rising is on. Okay? Understand what's happening. I am the path home. You have to rise through the light of the sun. And that's through doing all of these things. That's through letting go of the resistance, letting go of the shackles that bind you, letting go of all karmic patterning, and calling all your power back by seeing past that, by choosing past that, by being the lens of unconditional love. And most mankind was not there. It's a great reset. But I'm ready to rise. I don't know about you. I'm ready. I'm ready to rise. I'm ready to soar. I'm ready. And that brown snake was scary as shit. Let me tell you, that was a scary dream. But puking up that white rat, the thing that I came from that is that we purified it. Because that's not a normal part of what was in the Bible. That white rat didn't make sense to me. I was like, what is, and it puked it out as it was chasing me. It puked out the white rat. And right before that, I had people trying to get me to smoke pot and smoke cigarettes. My DM wouldn't hear me. He wouldn't help me. And this big, huge snake was chasing me out of my garden. It was chasing me out of my garden. And I was like backing up out of fear. And then it threw up this white rat. And once it threw up the white rat, I saw the rat. It was alive. It was regurgitating, but it was alive. So it was like thinning out its skin and its barely any hair and things, but it was alive. And it had like this look on its face, and it was coming towards me, but so was the snake still. And I woke up. And to me, that snake represents temptation and all of those things. That's why in the Bible, they would talk about that. The DM not listening to me, he died. I have a new DM. Okay. I did get a walk-in DM during this journey because the other one did choose to become a fallen. And if you really know what happened to Jesus and Adam and everything, he just chose not to clear it. Okay. And they were actually trying to stop the ascension. So I did get a walk-in. And so that the snake puking up the white rat represented clearing that. It's all purified. So we have gone back to Adam and Eve. That is the return of Christ. And you must be able to rise through every portal back to the beginning of time to be a part of the greatest golden era that ever was. The new earth is all of the Garden of Eden. And I do mean all of it. But some will go, some will stay, golden era. And some will never know life this way. The fallen. Okay. So who do you give your power to? The resistance, judgment, fear, money, ego, the matrix? Or do you give it away to your own self, to God, to your power, to knowing, to learning, to growing, to healing? Do you call your power back, or do you give it away? Do you call your power back, or do you give it away? The choice is yours. That's why everybody's chosen. That chosen word takes free will away. That's BS upon BS. Okay. God's bringing sicknesses? No. They're just implementing your ability to rise or not. They're trying to get you to see your karmic demise or not. And that's what Apollo would do. They either implement your heart reviews, they change the earth right along with what I do, and you choose to rise or not. You choose to see or not. It's your free will. You're the chosen through your choices. Okay? Understand this. So much love to all of you. Have a very beautiful day ahead. I'll see you next time. I love that, Roger. Give your power to God every time, except, Roger, you're still in the matrix. So are you sure you give your power to God every time? What God are you giving your power to? You really have to ask yourself, because you're still being controlled by money, by fear, judgment, right? So Roger, you need to really check about that, because are you truly, and God wants you to have your own power. So here's the thing. Let me clarify this, because Roger says he gives his power to God. God wouldn't ask you for your power. Let's clear that. So the God you're giving your power to is not true God. God gave you power. God gave you free will. You are a light of God in your heart space. Okay? So understand this. Hear me. So you're a powerful creator. He gave you the ability to call in money. He gave you the ability to have abundance. It's your birthright. He gave you the ability to be a healer. He gives you the ability to understand through his eyes. He gives you the ability of so much unconditional love and so much joy and gratitude and happiness, but you do it through your choices. God gave you free will. So who you give your power to, you need to make sure you have it. You need to make sure you're in your full power, not giving it away. Do you give your power to the shadow, or do you call your power back? Because God, true God, is not going to ask you for your power. You're a fragment of his power. There's the difference. I love that you said that, because there's something you need to see. God's not going to ask you to give your power to him. He's going to ask you to be in your full power, to believe in yourself, to love yourself unconditionally, to understand your full power, to know how to create, to know how to be in balance from your heart center, to get you to align with your passion of creation, of pure sovereign flow. Pure sovereign being means to be in your full power. So when you say, I give my power to God, that's a religious one. That's not true God. And that is falling. Call your power back. God's not going to ask you for your power. You're not a chosen. You rise through free will, through calling your power back. You are a creator. You are powerful. You're a master manifester. You are unconditional love. You are, it's your birthright to have all this vibrance, this joy, this everything. Make sense? You're still giving your power away to the fallen. You're being controlled by fear, by money, by ego, those things. Those are all giving your power away. And when those things rise, you go, nope, 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 nope. I know who I am. I am beautiful. I am grace. I am powerful. I am a creator. I am a healer. I can be a pure channel. Okay. Yeah, so don't give your power away to anybody. You need to call it back. But you are still giving your power away. You are. You are still being governed by the matrix. You are. You have to be pure sovereign to rise, and the time to rise is now. So you're giving your power away. You need to find out where. Never give your power to God. God wouldn't ask you to. God asks you to be in your power no matter what comes your way. Okay? So much love, everybody. We'll see you next time. We're rising. Oh, yes, we are. I'm implementing Gate 10 tomorrow. See you later.